Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another cast, another game, a 2v2, this time on a water map. Deadly Tea. I have cast games on this map before, though typically this is a 4v4 map. It's a huge map for a 2v2. As you can see, you have two huge land masses on each side, separated by water. And the T you can sort of see, though it could be an upside down I as well. But either way, this is a huge map. Tons of metal for just 4 players. I mean, just an absolute monstrosity amount of metal. Look at all this. Not only do you have all the mexes on the ground, covering everything, but you also have these squares of metal, the pseudo metal map style design. And geos all over the place, and there's plenty of metal in the water as well. So, again, this is a huge map for a 2v2. I don't expect to see much action early on because it's going to take forever just to get to the other side of the map at the beginning. But we will get there, my friends. We will get there. I promise you we will get to the action. And I do like this map. I like any kind of water map or hybrid map, of course. It's my favorite. I will be more than happy to cast those kinds of games. So on this map, don't forget these metal squares in the middle. Again, this is a huge map for a 2v2, so it's going to be difficult to try to control all of the surface area and try to macro everything and also fight as well. So we'll have to see how the players want to do that. But speaking of the players, we do have an epic cast here. We do have an absolute all-star lineup of players. On the Eastern team, we've got Mr. EXC in red and Harald in purple. Oh, excuse me. Stagma in purple. So it's EXC and Stagma. That is a scary team if I ever did see one. And on the left, we have Harald in light blue and Lemm+Harald. So, man, 4 of the best players that we've got. I mean, these guys might be the 4 best players in the game. They're certainly in the top 5. So these are probably top 5 players doing a 2v2. You can expect fireworks to happen in this match, undoubtedly, as we are currently in a war for the soul of I almost said arm versus core. That would be really cool if we had an arm versus core game. They don't happen very often, but in fact, EXE is the only player going arm. The other 3 have gone core, but we're in the battle for the soul of the viewer. Type in the comments. Put it in the chat. I want to know, who do you think is going to win? Who do you think will be victorious in this particular game? Oh my god. I forgot to type the sonar command. I'm not going to type it because it'll crash the replay. But, yeah, which team do you think is going to be victorious? EXE and Stagma? Or Harald and Lemm+Harald? I do know that Lemm+Harald is a fan favorite. A lot of comments on the YouTube channel recently saying how much everyone likes Lemm+Harald. He is certainly a god of escalation. There's no doubt about that. He's up there with the greatest of the greatest of the greats. And he certainly has his own style as well. He just doesn't really seem to give up, ever. But Harald is universally known as the best. So sticking Harald and Lemm+Harald on the same team, I don't know. I would almost say that the Eastern team with EXE and Stagma are the underdogs. They are going to have their work cut out for them. Harald has won every tournament for a long time. And Lemm+Harald is also just a monster. So if you're a new viewer and you haven't watched a lot of my videos, you might not know these 4 players, but let me kind of do a brief overview of their styles. Here early on, we just have a lot of harassment, which you might expect on a huge map like this. We're going to have scouts raiding around in all locations, trying to get as much damage done as humanly possible. But yeah, let's just run over the players. If you're someone that hasn't watched my channel for a while, you may not know why these 4 players are so legendary. So first we have EXE. EXE, the Russian god. He is known for his fantastic airplay specifically, but he's also known for being a bit of a wild card. EXE's style is all over the place. It just kind of depends on the day. He will do anything. So part of what makes EXE a really interesting player is that he is so unpredictable, and but he's always pretty good. Almost always. Sometimes EXE is just trolling. That does happen. And Stagma, I would say what makes Stagma good is just his it's his ability to, it's his like adaptation. Stagma also plays Protea pretty much just as much as Escalation. I bet Stagma would be good at almost any strategy game. He's just an excellent player and very good at reacting to what the opponent is doing. Stagma, that's mostly the playstyle that I've seen of him. He's a very reactive player, but he's so good at countering what his opponents do and coming out on top. That doesn't mean that Stagma can't be aggressive or, you know, take the offensive posture. His playstyle, generally from what I've seen, is just a very reactive style that works extremely well to kind of parry what his opponent's doing and then come out on top through whether through eco or having the right answers. So this is our East team, EXE and Stagma. Stagma reacting right now to Harald's attempt to push. And cleaning that up very well. All they will lose right there is just a mechs. So EXE, he's attempting his own raiding. Now, Harald is, of course, as the best, kind of universally accepted best player, though I think Stagma and Harald are pretty close. They haven't really done many 1v1s. Stagma is usually not a 1v1 player, but I'm sure he would... I think they would be pretty close. I think in team games, Stagma is just as good as Harald, but in a 1v1 Harald, it would be close, but I think Harald would probably still be a little better. But we'd have to see. Stagma would need to enter into the next 1v1 tournament. But Harald, right now, with a little hovercraft push, I like this. He's already killed 2 mexes, working on a 3rd. So Harald will be the first player to go into hovercrafts. We saw him building that earlier. I didn't really comment on it. And Lemm+Harald is the first player to go air, I think. Though he hasn't. Seems like he hasn't built much from it yet. Anyway, Harald with some nice hovercraft harassment. EXE will attempt to go into hover second, but he will be way behind Harald on that timing. This one defender, very nice. And there is action happening all over the map, so I will try to keep up with all of that. Stagma with a counterattack here. And this scrubber will eventually die, I think, to these defenders. But not before getting some economic damage done by Harald. Nice job with that early hovercraft play. But as far as Harald, he's very well-rounded. He's just kind of good at everything. That's probably why he's the best. Like, he's probably... I'd say he's got some of the best micro, if not the best micro of any escalation player. In other words, he controls his units the best. There's probably other players that are close, but he has extremely good micro. But he's just extremely well-rounded and tends to keep his opponents on the defensive. He plays very aggressively usually, as you can see with his early hovercraft raiding. He got some damage done there. So Harald's very good at taking control of the game and really off-balancing his opponent and never letting them recover, because he keeps his macro up in the background. A lot of times more aggressive players will fall behind economically because they're investing all of their resources and attention into the front line, and then they neglect their eco. But Harald is very good at actually taking control of the game but not falling behind because he's aggressive. So that's a sign of a good play. So Harald, probably the most well-rounded player that we have. And then Lemm+Harald is he's typically known for his tech style. He reaches T3 typically before anyone else. It's not always the case. I mean, this game he's staying on T1 forever, but this is a huge map, and I assume that when Lemm+Harald does tech up, he'll get to T3 pretty fast. So Lemm+Harald is known for his T3 play, and he's known for his tenacity. He's very hard to kill. Lemm+Harald basically just does not give up, and he's good at holding on till the end and finding ways to come back from impossible situations. That's sort of his style. So again, 4 players, 4 distinct styles. They're all extremely good, and it's amazing to see them in a 2v2 on a hybrid map. I'm sure this game will deliver. It's already delivering. EXE with some nice Rocko play, taking control of the southern corner of the map, and Stagma with his instigators, bringing in reinforcements. And right now the southern team has, or excuse me, the eastern team has control of the south. But more hovercraft play. I'm surprised to see that neither team really investing in naval too much yet. Of course, that is changing. But naval could play a big role on this map. We will have to see. Hovercrafts, of course, already playing a big role. Harald attempting more raiding, but Stagma is ready. And it's surprising to see both teams are really staying on T1 for a long time. I think they're just trying to take over this giant map. In some ways, teching to T2 before you've claimed all the metal spots is a bit wasteful because, Harald sniping that Geo just in time. So that is going to hurt Stagma a little bit economically. But Stagma and EXE with a well-timed counterattack of their own, and how much can they get accomplished here? EXE still has most of his Rockos alive. Harald with these 3 light laser towers. Well positioned to try and hold this, but can he do it? He's using his instigators' bodies to try and protect the Khan, but the Khan will die, and so will the light laser towers. And so will Harald's dreams of defending that position. But Lemm+Harald coming in with reinforcements. He's got quite a few raiders. The core T1 medium tank. So still, EXE has the superior composition here. These Rockos will chew through anything on T1 pretty effectively as long as they're microed well. I have called Rockos kings of T1 because if you get enough of them, they can simply outrange everything and shred the targets down from a decent range with their rockets. So as of now, EXE has a scary army, but the problem with Rockos is that in order to be used effectively, they kind of need to kite backwards and use their range to kill the opponent's army. And the issue is it doesn't work so well when you're trying to push in. So EXE will push in, but as Lemm+Harald pushes back, then EXE will be forced to retreat. And that is giving the Western team more time to build the counters they need on T2, because again, Rocko's may be king at T1, but once the game hits the T2 phase, things do shift very quickly. Rocko's can become irrelevant once you start spamming out units like Mortys and Dominators and even Manticores, and with enough cans and pyros, things like that. So again, it is escalation. As the game techs up, you do run into situations where a unit that was incredibly powerful and dominating at the first tier starts to move into irrelevance. So EXE might want to try to use this force while it's still effective. But for now, the Eastern team is content to just try and hold the middle. I think that's a decent plan too, because they're getting extra resources. They're getting map control. Right now, both teams starting to shore up their defenses and also take control of the sea, an advanced shipyard being constructed. And I do have to say the Western team has definitely invested more into their naval presence. 3 enforcers here, along with a small group of snappers and quite a few searchers as well. So if Harald and Lemm+Harald can get some synergy and attack together, they should have the superior naval force. But EXE, he will, I think, come out ahead on top of this battle, or come out ahead, because again, the Rockos are just going to outrange the Raiders pretty effectively. The Raiders are a great unit for tanking and also stationary targets like defenses, but they're not as good against a mobile army. Their shells are a little bit slow, and they don't have the highest DPS either. So Lemm+Harald just needs to stay alive long enough to start getting these Dominators out en masse, and once he has a decent number of those, the Dominators should be able to retaliate pretty effectively. But I'd like to see Lemm+Harald use his naval fleet. This is a huge investment of resources, and so if you're going to make a massive investment into the naval, you need to make sure that it pays off. Of course, these enforcers do have long-range cannons. They will be able to shell the shoreline should the Western team win the battle in the sea. But again, I don't like that Harald and Lemm+Harald are a bit disjointed. They're not attacking in unison. This would be the time for Harald to move his forces, and maybe they could do a sort of a sandwich attack here at the southeast corner. But instead, Lemm+Harald will be forced to retreat. EXE and Stagma playing as a team, as a single unit, much more effectively. I do like this. I think the Western team so far has inferior teamwork, and I think the Eastern team is definitely so far doing a better job. Harald will move in as his teammate distracts most of the army, but yeah, EXE will get a little bit caught. These vanguards will not survive very long to the enforcers, and bit of help from the shoreline as well, a couple raiders. But once again, this battle all the way in the south, EXE's army is going to slowly become less and less powerful as these Dominators continue to walk off the production line. You can see more already making their way to the front. And EXE, it doesn't look like he's really reinforced this for a while, so this army is the same that it's been for probably the past 10 or 15 minutes. But finally, Lemm+Harald and Harald sort of working together here. They will catch a Crusader out. And now, Harald will make landfall. This is a decently sized army of snappers. It looks to be about 10. And if he can get this Geo, that would be a decent economic blow to Stagma. He's already killed one. Yeah, so that will go down. And, oh, okay, EXE, known for his legendary patented Russian aerial domination. Let's see how much he can do with it. Right now, just using it defensively. Ooh, that was a nice hit there, taking out a couple snappers before they can get into the heart of his base. EXE will sacrifice what is left of his army down here, and that will die. Now Harald with a huge force of Manticore. Manticore are an interesting unit. It's an escalation-only core T2 hybrid missile tank, and they're interesting because, first of all, the reason they're called hybrid is because they can hit air as well. So that's a unique characteristic of the Manticore. But also, they have like a timing where they're extremely strong. So at the early T2 phase, hold that thought, EXE wants to avoid this Manticore force because they will shoot down those bombers pretty quickly. Lemm+Harald, I think he said he was working on a Warlord and he canceled it on accident, so that will put him a little bit behind. That's what he said in the chat. So yeah, canceling his Warlord is never something you want to do. The T2 battleships are very expensive and time-consuming, so Lemm+Harald probably going to be kicking himself a little bit. So they definitely need every advantage they can get, especially with EXE finally moving forward with his patented bomber play, attempting the snipe on the advanced hovercraft platform, but ultimately will get nothing. Lemm+Harald and Harald were ready, both of them with a nice squadron of fighters patrolling the skies, making sure that they can stop any kind of potential bombing play that might sour their days. But as I was saying, the Manticore is an interesting unit because at the beginning of the T2 phase, they can be extremely strong when massed. They outrange most things and their missiles are deadly accurate. But they do get outscaled very quickly. Even on the T2 phase, they can get outscaled by something like Bulldogs or Dominators. EXE with another wave of bombers, but I just don't think that's going to get much accomplished. The Western team was more than ready for this, and EXE has accomplished very little with these attempts. But yeah, these Manticore, great at a certain phase of the game, but already I think they're going to their usefulness is going to be limited, especially against the Gats. And as we start to see more Bulldogs, things might get a little bit dire for Harald. He may need to transition into something more substantial. But yeah, right now, Lemm+Harald about to finish the Warlord that he canceled earlier. You have to think if that first Warlord had been finished, it would probably already be close to the rest of his army. They might be able to do a naval push. But the Eastern team, the underdogs, I think are currently doing better here. I think they're in a better position. They've got more of the map. This whole area has been defended really well. We've got Gats and Mortys galore. And even a Punisher being put up, so that is going to be a difficult position to break. Not impossible, especially if Lemm+Harald does get his battleship up. They might be able to do some damage from the shore. Maybe build some Rangers. The T2 missile cruiser could have an effect here. We'll have to see what the Western team wants to do, but for now I think the Eastern team, in firm control of this game, these Manticore are going to be nearly useless against this defensive position. They're going to need much more powerful options like Goliaths, maybe some Pillagers or Merles, or Diplomats rather. So yeah, right now, the story of the game is the Eastern team has taken firm control of the middle and now defending their territory. So let's take a peek at the player bases real quick and just see if there's anything noteworthy that we would want to point out, like a nuke or a long-range plasma cannon or T3. Anything like that that could be game-changing or interesting. So we do have this Warlord has finally been completed, but right now nothing too out of the ordinary. Both teams still on T2. Nobody's even attempting T3 yet. Lemon does have this Warlord. Well, I don't know what it's doing, but theoretically it would be making its way down south. And Harald, with a raiding squad of scalpels. But I don't think this is going to get too much accomplished. EXE, some nice fighter cover. The Western team bringing their fighters in to try and counter. The Scalpel is the core T2 Raider. These punishing close range GAT lasers. But unfortunately, I think the Eastern team was ready for this. This is annoying, but so far not much more than annoying. It hasn't achieved too much. But it still could, I guess, if Harald makes his way up north, there's a possibility that he could get some economic damage done. He will make landfall here at the northeast part of the island. And he does get a little bit done. He's taken out a Mex. But yeah, he's taken out a couple of Mexes, so again, this hasn't been much more than just annoying. But now Lemm+Harald, he is finally pushing in. He certainly has the strongest naval force in the game at the current moment. His Warlord is not even here yet. Still slowly maneuvering its way to the front line, but even without it, he is a force to be reckoned with here. Sumo's on the shoreline attempting to try to staunch the bleeding if they can. And there is a Shredder to try and offer that air coverage, prevent EXE from harassing them from the sky. This Warlord needs to keep moving. But these Sumos seem to be a problem that the Western team not currently able to solve. And again, the the amount of defenses here in the south, it's an impressive display, and I think that's going to be probably going to be T3 before any of that can be killed. Finally, the Warlord does make its way to the front, and yeah. We'll have to see what he wants to do with it. Does he want to try to push through the south here and kill some eco, or does he just want to shell the shoreline and maybe take out some military targets? He should outrange the Sumos by a little bit. But you know, the Sumo's doing a decent job defending this. Already the Warlord almost at half health. And, yeah, a decent job by... Again, this is what Stagma is so good at. This is really what makes him such an amazing player. He just counters what his opponents do so well. Look at this. These are his defenses. This is his sumos. They have gotten that Warlord to just a sliver of health. I mean, he's got all the answers. He's ready for this. Not giving the Western team an inch. But EXE, he is trying yet another aerial raid, this time bringing the Zephyrs. This is an Escalation exclusive depth charge gunship. It is a T1. But used at the right time, they can be extremely effective. And it seems like the Western team was not ready for this. The Zephyrs dealing some serious damage to Lemm+Harald's production and eco here in the north. Where are the fighters? I thought Harald and Lemm+Harald had some fighters, but I don't know if they're just otherwise engaged or what, or maybe they were taken out. But either way, EXE getting a ton accomplished there, taking out the advanced shipyard, taking out a lot of the underwater mexes, and I think Harald pushing in vain, trying in vain to break through Stagma's defenses, but not even coming close. And Harald again. Harald likes to be in the driver's seat. That's his play style, and he's attempted this game to gain control of the map and the pace, but just has been thwarted again and again on multiple fronts. The hovercrafts, the scalpel pushes falling short, and the Goliath pushes also falling short here in the south. So Harald is attempting to basically play the game his way, but Stagma having none of it, and also EXE being a thorn in Lemm+Harald's side, taking out that advanced shipyard. So unfortunate because again he can't produce warlords anymore. The first Warlord he has almost dead, and the second one coming in, but I don't know if 2 battleships is really going to be enough here. Stagma is ready for that counterattack that he's so good at. Stagma very good at parrying, stopping what his opponent is doing, and then striking back with a deadly blow. And this blow may be deadly indeed, as we've got triple barrel sumos and upgraded Goliaths as well. And this force could be enough to just break through Harald completely. The Immolator will die. Now the Toaster also in trouble. The Western team is absolutely... They need an answer right now because, again, Stagma has he has emerged in a big way. Lemm+Harald with his own sumos. So, a decent number of sumos on both sides. It's a pretty even battle now, but I think Stagma has more of these. Oh, and EXE with the double barrel penetrators and the army of Lugers in the back. What a deadly push by the Eastern team. They have weathered the storm over and over. They have just defensively played so well. Stopped the Western team from getting much of anything done. And now, counterattacking in force. Look at all of this. So many Lugers. Most of these sumos are still alive somehow. The Warlords are offering support from the shoreline, and that will prompt Stagma to move out of range of those. They definitely don't want to take that fight. But this could just be an unstoppable push from the Eastern team. I mean, look at all of this artillery. The double barrel penetrators are so good against the sumos. here in the north, EXE still maintaining his aerial domination. But the Western team, they have responded. They've got some T2 air of their own, so it's not so clear now who is winning that. EXE bringing the torpedo bombers into play. But the reality is Lemm+Harald's... Okay, he has rebuilt his advanced shipyard, but... Yeah. What a brawl here at the top. I mean, both Harald and Lemm+Harald investing in air, and that will, I think, clean up most of that attack, but the real attack is in the south. That was more of a distraction. And can they stop this? I'm not so sure they can. This is looking a little bit grim. All the sumos, all the Lugers, the Bulldogs. Lemm+Harald has also not really been allowed to play the way he likes to play the game. He did go T3 as his style. He loves to rush T3. And I think he might be the first player there. I could be wrong about that. I haven't been checking the player bases. So there might be other players on T3, but this is what Lemm+Harald loves to do, and he's there. But will it save them? Can his T3 rush save them? That's really the question. This push looking nearly unstoppable. Lots of immolators, but even more Lugers and Bulldogs. And with the reinforcements streaming through, I don't know, guys. It's definitely not a situation you want to be in. The end of a barrel with EXE and Stagma holding the gun. Yeah, I think this southern part of their base is going to have to be sacrificed for sure. But Lemm+Harald, known for his tenacity, not willing to give up so easily, bringing the sumos as a last-ditch effort. They've got to try and stop this. Stagma telling EXE to hide his calm, knowing the Western team may go for a desperation play, that calm snipe attempt. But yeah, I don't know. I think Lemm+Harald, even with all of his power, which is Scouter might measure it as somewhere over 9,000. He's going to lose this base. This base is all but gone, but I think Harald also got to T3 somewhere. Sorry guys, it's hard to keep up with everything. So Harald, oh no, so this was Harald. Sorry, I thought this was Lemm+Harald on T3. My apology. Harald has made it to T3, but will it be in time? I mean, will these behemoths have the power that they need to really pull the game back from the brink? I'm not sure. Problem is there's already some good counters to the behemoths on the field. The penetrator's great against this. The sumos are decent as well against T3. And now this Warlord will suffer the ultimate defeat as Lemm+Harald has been beaten in the sea and now being beaten on the land. And he's attempting to go double T3. I mean, that's yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Having two T3 plants at the same time, it's optimistic, but I don't... And he's also building them very close to the front line, also trying to throw up a Doomsday Machine. I think Lemm+Harald is just using his resources here, as you can see. He needs to find a way to spend his metal, but I don't know if this is the way. This is not the way. This is, the Doomsday Machine will make it up, but... Okay. He does cancel one of his K-Bot gantry, so... He needs to make more Doomsday Machines, now bringing the Rapiers into play, using the gunships to try to take control of the field. But EXE's ready. He's got air control. And once again, we're in a position where the Western team slowly crumbling, slowly falling apart, a victim to the endless pressure. But that one Doomsday Machine is going to be worth its weight in absolute gold or diamonds. Absolutely pivotal right there. And I think they're going to hold this. Well, okay, hold that thought. I think they'll stop this push here in the southwest, but there's another push happening here, coming from this angle as well by Stagma. So the Eastern team putting on relentless pressure. And guys, here's the issue. Even if the Western team can hold, and they're doing a decent job of it, the Eastern team has taken over most of the map. As you can see, like, economically, they're going to be so far ahead just because the amount of surface area they have to build resources will certainly benefit them. So EXE on 270 metal per second. Stagma looked like he was at 210. Yeah, about 210, so economically, they're going to be way ahead. And Stagma making full use of his economic advantage, pushing through. And I don't think that either of them are on T3 either. So to all my viewers that watch my cast and say T3 OP, T3 OP, and all that stuff, this is a good example of how T3, you don't need T3 to win. EXE and Stagma are doing it on T2, and they have dominated the battlefield just on T2 so far. A deadly push of Sumos and upgraded Goliaths, now threatening to reach the heart of Harald's base, and if he can kill that advanced vehicle plant, I think this game would be all but over. Lemm+Harald okay, he will finally finish his own T3, but at what cost? This Doomsday... Oh, he's got a couple Doomsday Machines, but those are kind of the only things standing between him and an absolute oblivion. He's got his own rapiers attempting to protect Harald's base as well. But I think a look at the mega map just kind of tells the story. The Eastern team's base extremely intact, and the Western team's base is just in tatters. It's shattered. Places missing all over the map. And these rapiers are the only thing preventing Stagma from just walking into Harald's base and winning the game. So nice job, nice teamwork by our yellow player. But what a game this has been. This Doomsday Machine barely alive, 13 kills on that, but I think it will pay the price shortly and finally go down. Well, it's still alive somehow. Oh, it looks like it's being repaired by this Ultra Construction K-Bot. Oh, nope, too late. But again, these gunships really keeping the dreams alive for the Western team. Hawks coming in to try to prevent this as well. EXE wants to maintain firm control over the skies. And oh, speaking of sky control, that is a lot of T1 bombers. He's probably been building that one up for about 20 minutes now. And if he can catch his opponents off guard and find a nice avenue of attack, those Thunders could win the game. Right now, the Western team just holding on. Barely. I don't even know how they're doing it. But, yeah, that would change dramatically if EXE had a nice bombing run. Oh my gosh. Oh no, taking out all the fusions there, and Lemm+Harald had it so close to the front. going for the storages. Oh man, this is so devastating to watch. A pounder will make it out, but oh my god, all these bombers, they take out the experimental construction plant, taking out aircraft plants, taking out K-Bot labs, taking out defenses, taking out mohos. Lemm+Harald, his base has just been absolutely eviscerated. EXE, what a monster. So, look, this is what I'll say. I feel like the players on the Eastern team, they both had better teamwork and they played to their strengths. EXE, known for his amazing aerial play, he did it extremely well this game. That's basically what won them the game. That raid here at the north was so devastating to Lemm+Harald, taking out that advanced shipyard, preventing him from getting control of the sea. And Harald, who loves to be aggressive, was just never able to take control of the game. Stagma parried him at every attempt. All these defenses down here made every push feel impossible. And then ultimately, EXE and Stagma with that amazing teamwork, the dual push through the bottom, and that was the beginning of the end. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this cast. 4 legendary players showing their stuff. I think if they played another game, Harald and Lemm+Harald would probably win, right? Like that's how close in skill these players are. So what a game. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next cast.